Eke Market Day in the Igbo lunar calendar. And in the Roman Catholic calendar, today's date is 8/5/2025. And remember, at Nkola Mahadum, we always advise you to use your naturally given common sense, which we call akonuche in Igbo language. And also, we are primarily set up to debunk and to save you from all the colonial false information, and therefore to save you from mental slavery. Because as soon as somebody takes away your sense of reasoning, he has already conquered you. And that is why we package and present our lectures from Igbo man, from Biafran, and African perspectives. That is how you should be seeing things. You should be seeing things from how it concerns you. And we are asking you to join us, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Because if you do, anytime we present a new lecture, you will be the first to get it. And we are also encourage you to go back to our previous lectures, and you will be happy that you did. The title of today's lecture is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Naturalized British Citizenship, and Others Look Like a Trap Than Helpful. The title of today's lecture is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Naturalized British Citizenship, and Other Citizenships which they are giving our people. They look like a trap than being helpful. As you can see, or as you can tell, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been abandoned by the British government, by the British people. And so shall you. And we want to remind you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was illegally renditioned to Nigeria from Kenya on June 29, 2021. And today's date is August 5th, 2021, which is 4 years plus years. Nnamdi Kanu had been illegally detained in DSS custody since that time, in solitary confinement for 4 years and plus, as he was illegally renditioned from Kenya on June 29, 2021. Do the calculation, and you will see that it's been 4 years, and the British government have not done anything. And Nnamdi Kanu is their citizen. And according to Vanguard newspaper of August 3, 2025, that's on Sunday, Kanu's family forced United Kingdom over silence on Kanu's detention. So on Sunday, this past Sunday, the Kanu's family was not happy, and they came public asking why United Kingdom, why the UK, United Kingdom government had been silenced on the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu illegal rendition from Kenya to Nigeria and continuous detention in solitary confinement in DSS custody, and the continuous trial that he's been going through. And the spokesman of the family, as presented by Emapowafo, was Prince Emmanuel Kanu, who said that the statement was made in defense of the truth and justice and in memory of past conflict in the region. And we have to explain that. He said that why the family came out is that the family is seeking truth. And we all know that it is only the truth that will save the world from destruction. If you see what is going on in the world today, you can see that the world leaders, many of them are not truthful. And so the Nnamdi Kanu family is saying that they want the truth and justice. And you know, there's a lot of injustice going on in the world today. A lot of injustice going on against the Biafran people in Nigeria, against the Palestinian people living in Gaza, against the people in Sudan, against the people in Congo, and so many of them. So the family is seeking for justice. And then also, because of past conflict in the region, which region are they referring to? The eastern region of Nigeria, because of all the massacre that have been going on in that region from the 1960s that culminated to the Biafran Nigerian War of 67 and to 70, which was a genocidal war. And that's all this because of the defense of truth, justice, and conflicts in the region. That was why they are coming public to pressure the UK government for their silence on the detention of their citizens. Also, the family alluded to the fact that the British consular officials visited Nnamdi Kanu in custody. Yes, the British consul did visit Nnamdi Kanu in custody. But what happened after that? No action. Everybody can see that there was no action, and there's no action up to today. That is why Nnamdi Kanu is still illegally being detained in the DSS custody in solitary confinement up to today for 4 years and now. So the British government, their citizen, was left alone in that condition, in that illegal, unjustifiable condition up to today. Or have you heard anything? The answer is no. The government is not doing anything to save her citizen, which was illegally renditioned from Kenya and illegally being detained in solitary confinement in DSS custody for 4 years plus now. Contrast this one. Contrast Nnamdi Kanu's situation with the American response, where a team of USA Special Warfare Development Group, known as SEAL Team 6, rescued Philip Walton in a night raid that killed 6 of the 7 gunmen in northern Nigeria and rescued him. And this happened on October 31st, 2020. The American SEAL rescued their citizens, which were illegally kidnapped. On October, they rescued the American citizen on October 31st, 2020, who was illegally kidnapped. Isn't that the same thing that the Nigerian government did to Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya? They illegally kidnapped him from there, illegally renditioned him from there to Nigeria, and put him in DSS custody, and have been trying him for 4 years plus without the British doing anything. That tells you that naturalized citizenship that they are giving to many of us may be a trap. And we want to define what naturalized citizenship means. When you have a naturalized citizenship, it means you left your home country where you were born to another country. And in that country, you applied for citizenship and they gave you naturalized citizenship. It is naturalized because you are not born there. They naturalize you. They make you natural. That is artificial naturalization. Because if you are born there, it will be natural occurrence. But you are not born there. So they just give it to you and call it naturalized citizenship. And oftentimes, it comes with some advantages, like no need to review your green card. Like in the United States, you have no need to renew your green card. It reduces the risk of removal, easier travel and entry back into the country, no loss of status, even if you stay longer, in anywhere you travel to. You go to school, maybe with lower school fees. You bring your spouse and your parents, maybe for a shorter period of time that it usually takes. So it has some obvious advantages, but those advantages that we are asking at Nkolom Hadum, are they really helpful or a trap? And we want you to help us to answer that question, because for us at Nkolom Hadum, we believe that all these things they are giving you is like a trap to trap you into their system, to trap you into their country. But when you have a very important case, like the one involving Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is fighting for self-determination, and you know that self-determination is not a crime, both in the UN Charter and African Charter. So why is it that the UK government have not done anything to release their citizen, which was illegally rendition, illegally being detained, illegally being tried for 4 years and now? So that's why we believe that it could be a trap to trap us into that country, so that we will not have time to start to fight our own, to look for our own. Because after all, those naturalized citizenship doesn't provide food on your table. You still have to hustle. You still have to work hard to make sure that you pay your rent, you feed your family, you take care of most of the expenses by yourself. And so that is why we brought this up as a topic for all of us to look at this naturalized citizenship program that our people are beneficiaries of. This naturalized citizenship, which are given to us, we Igbo people, we Biafrans, we Africans across the world, make sure that it is not a trap to trap you down into that country, so that you don't fight for your own. You don't fight for Igbo man freedom. You don't fight for Biafran freedom or African freedom from colonial interferences. You feel comfortable in that foreign land where you are, while you have trillions and trillions of dollars in your own country, in your own geographical area, in Biafra land, in Igbo land, and uncountable trillions across Africa. We Africans have to realize that we don't have to be too comfortable with that naturalized citizenship, because when you have an important case, you may not receive the needed help that you're supposed to get. Nnamdi Kanu situation should be an eye-opener to all of us. Because if naturalized citizenship is working, if it's achieving the intended results, why should Nnamdi Kanu be left to be suffering in the DSS custody, illegally being detained after illegally being in rendition from Kenya to Nigeria? So this is why we brought this topic for us to analyze and look into. And before we continue, we have to beg you again to please join, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Because when you do, whenever we do a new lecture, you'll be the first to get it. Plus, go back to our previous lectures and then like, comment, and share. Share to everybody, because this lecture is very, very, very good. And so what we are saying is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu naturalized British citizenship and others is like those in the United States, those in other parts of the world, Russia, China, Europe, even Arab countries, wherever you are, outside Igbo land, outside Biafra land, outside Africa, you are in another country, and they give you this naturalized citizenship. Let us make sure it is not a trap. It is not stopping us from looking down into our own land to know what we can do to stop the migration, to stop leaving our land to other people's land to beg them for naturalized citizenship. Because when you have your own country, when you have Biafra as a country, Biafra will defend you. We will defend you just like the American defended and rescued one person and killed 6 out of the 7 kidnappers of their citizen. That's what we are saying, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is now abandoned by the British government, and we don't want you to be another victim. And so we also want to refresh your mind to let you know that Nnamdi Kanu was illegally renditioned from Kenya to Nigeria on June 29th, 2021. If you calculate that, today's date, 8/5/2025, it's about 4 years that he's been languishing in DSS custody in solitary confinement, while the British government is not doing anything to help him to get out of that place. And that is why the Vanguard newspaper of 803 or 3rd of August reported that the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came public and to fault to expose the UK government over their silence. They have been silent on the detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They are questioning their inaction over the illegal rendition, illegal detention, illegal trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And their spokesperson is Prince Emmanuel Kanu. And he said that the reasons why he came public is because he's asking for the truth. And we know that only the truth will save us, will make the world better. He's asking for justice. And you know, we have injustice everywhere. There's injustice in Igbo land, there's injustice in Biafra land, there's injustice in Africa, there's injustice across the Palestinian people, the killings in Gaza, and across other places, Somalia, Congo, Sudan, to mention a few. And also, they came public because of past conflicts in the region. That past conflict, what they are referring to, is the genocides that were committed, the killings of the Biafrans, the Igbo program from the 1st January 1966 coup up to May. It became worse from May 1966 and up to the 2nd coup, and which eventually led to the Nigerian Biafran War of 67 and 70, where millions were killed. And that was why they're coming public to ask the UK government, why are you so silent? Why have you not done anything to free your citizens from this type of situation? And we are contrasting Nnamdi Kanu's situation to the Americans who came to northern Nigeria on October 31st, 2020, and rescued one of their own citizens, Philip Walton. One night, they rescued this man, killing 6 out of the 7 abductors. Why can't the British government do the same? And we also explain to you what naturalized citizenship means. Naturalized citizenship means that you left your country, you left your land where you are born. You are not born there. So you left your land where you're born to another country to seek for their citizenship, to belong to them. And we are saying, even though there are advantages, is it not a trap to make us to forget our home, to make us to forget that we should fight for our own? And we mention some of the advantages as no renew of your green card as in the US, or risk of removal of the citizenship, easier travel and re-entry, no loss of status. Even if you stay for up to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years outside, you can still come in. Lower school fees in some places. You can bring your spouse and children or parents faster than others. You know, yeah, these are some benefits, but is this benefits not really a trap to make you feel comfortable in that land than fighting your own, fighting for your own? That is how we want you to look at it. Because if Nnamdi Kanu can be treated this way by United Kingdom, you may be next. You may be next. And also, this naturalized citizenship doesn't place food on your table. You still have to work hard, hustle to pay your rent, and place the food on your table. So we want to use this lecture to have you to know, to make you to know that all these advantages may be a trap that it shouldn't stop us from fighting for the restoration of our own country. Because if we restore our own country is rich with trillions of dollars of resources and natural and human resources. It is better for us than coming out to hustle for naturalized citizenship of another country, where at the end of the day, you are naturalized. You are not born there. You don't belong there. It is very important you see it from that angle, because we want you to see things from how it concerns you, rather than how it concerns other cultures. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. And before we do, we have to beg you again to please, all Africans should stand up to dismantle the colonial artificial boundaries in Africa, because that's colonial boundaries, those colonial artificial boundaries in Africa are the sources of poverty, wars, migration, killings, starvation, imprisonment, and others. If we dismantle that, we can now reorganize ourselves from our natural ethnicities and decrease all the trouble that we are having and be as prosperous as other cultures in the world. It is very, very important that you stand up and support the dismantling of all those colonial boundaries so that we can be like other nations. Remember, there are countries that we are not even colonized. There are countries in this world that are not colonized. But in our own case, we were not only colonized, we were also enslaved and also defeated in the war. So if you are not using that to energize you, to stand up for your right, to do the needful, then you may be mistaken. And with this, we shall bring it to this lecture. And thank you very much for joining us today, and have a very, very good day. Thank you so much.